Ladies and gentlemen, we have shocking and breaking news. As reported by the Post-Millennial, Leonardo DiCaprio testifies that CCP-linked Malaysian financier, now a fugitive, sent $30 million to Obama during the 2012 campaign. Quote, he told me that he and a group were going to make a significant contribution to the Democratic Party. I said, wow, that's a lot of money. Now, according to Leonardo DiCaprio's testimony, it is that this Malaysian financier wanted to give the money. Not that he did or was in the process of doing so. DiCaprio said he told me he wanted to. But there's some important factors to consider as to the Post-Millennial's headline, in which they said Leonardo DiCaprio testifies that he sent $30 million to Obama. Well, according to other outlets, because I think details matter, disgraced financier tried to funnel $30 million to Obama, says Leonardo DiCaprio. The appropriate headline is that Leonardo DiCaprio testifies he wanted to do this thing. However, I think it's fair to say that the allegation is that he did do this thing, as there is a current criminal trial underway for the thing being done. That is to say, this individual told Leonardo DiCaprio he wanted to send this money to the Democrats, and now they're criminally charging a dude for having helped facilitate the transfer of the funds to Democrats. Innocent until proven guilty. However, I have some serious concerns here, notably the Obama administration's involvement in such a scheme, how the money made its way to the Democrats or Obama. And thus, I have to wonder if those payments that Obama was making to his legal counsel could have, in fact, been reimbursement or laundering. You know, Barack Obama has a legal team that had been invoicing him. And I think it's fair to assume that Barack Obama was actually paying these lawyers under these falsified invoices in an effort to funnel money to them so that he could facilitate this illegal foreign contribution. Of course, you understand that I'm being somewhat facetious in what I'm asserting here. What I will say in all seriousness is, if you know or are an investigator or a state's attorney or a district attorney or whatever, you should immediately begin the investigative process. Right now, the process by which an indictment will come against the Obama administration, against Barack Obama himself, and against anyone who worked on his campaign. Now, I know. Many people are going to say, Tim, what are you talking about? You're going to be hard pressed to find any paper trail. Oh, okay. Like Donald Trump paying a lawyer a retainer fee gets turned into he illegally paid money. You see, they made that up. It's like, I got a lawyer. He sends me invoices. It says hours billed on it. I don't know. And I'm like, I'm on the phone with the guy. I call him on the phone. He then racks up charges against me for talking to him on the phone. So what they do is Trump then pays the invoice and they say, aha, that proves you were funneling money. Well, he's paying his lawyer. Okay, let's play the same game. Barack Obama should be indicted for this, because I'm sure you'll find some dubious connection between him and this guy who's funneling money to him. Here you go. Hey, if those are the rules the Democrats created, I say we play that game. The Post-Millennial reports. Movie star Leonardo DiCaprio took the stand in a federal trial on Monday that seeks to hammer down the details of what appears to be a money funneling scheme that features a Malaysian financier funneling tens of millions of dollars through a prominent 90s rap artist for the purpose of donating to former President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. DiCaprio plays into the saga because he was said to have partied with Joe Low, a Malaysian financier who apparently suggested to DiCaprio during a conversation that he intended to contribute to Obama's presidential campaign. DiCaprio said, "It was a casual conversation about what party he was in support of. I told him what party I was in support of, and he told me that he and a group were going to make a significant contribution to the Democratic Party." I said, wow, that's a lot of money. Michael, probably pronouncing his name wrong, founder of the Fugees, has been recruited by Low in an effort to funnel money to Obama's re-election bid because foreigners are not allowed to contribute to U.S. campaigns. And this is according to a current criminal charge. Now, innocent until proven guilty, I will add. The report indicated that Michael had taken tens of millions of dollars to lobby the government on behalf of the Chinese government. However, it turns out that much of the money was stolen. Lowe is now being accused of embezzling $4.5 billion from 1MDB, Malaysia's state investment fund, per Reuters. Lowe reportedly helped fund the film The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay. Prosecutors have claimed that Michael received over $20 million from foreign accounts, which were then passed off to 20 straw donors from June to November 2012, according to the Post. These donors were believed to have made the contributions to the Obama campaign in their names so that the money could not be tracked back to Lowe. Well, I don't know if I believe that because there's a cap on how much you can give, but potentially the money could be funneled to super PACs. Let's talk about what's currently going on. They say Michael was apparently paid $70 million for his assistance to Lowe. As a result, the Fugees artist is now facing 11 criminal counts of attempting to influence the Obama and Trump administrations, per the report. Prosecutors have also noted that the artist is being accused of attempting to interfere with Trump's investigation into Lowe. Surprise, surprise. The Democrats are just better at this. They got patsies, This guy will take the fall. They'll say Obama had no idea what was going on. Okay, fine. Fair point. Maybe Obama had no idea what was going on. Let's play another game. James O'Keefe. Oh, we got a series of tweets here. He says Clinton is great. He's not talking about Hillary or Bill. He's talking about Clinton Rary. He reached out to us to get on the names check He reached out to us on, I don't know, there's a typo there, and the names check out on FEC data. The vision is coming together. Reach out to us and let's keep knocking on doors. All right. Here's a video. Clinton Rary says, I decided to look into Act Blue in Austin, Texas. I spoke with Ann, who is 80 plus years old, living in a retirement home. Over the last 6 years, according to FEC, she made 26,143 donations, or about 12 donations per day for 2,190 days straight on average, totaling $161,541.70 in donations. Either someone is making donations on her behalf, has access to her bank account, or Act Blue is using the elderly to launder money to politicians. Well, perhaps, but it may not be Act Blue using the elderly. It may be that someone is using Act Blue to launder money. I will say this one time. Well, I've actually said it several times, but I'm going to say it here in this context of what James O'Keefe has uncovered. If you are a conservative or moderate district or states or county, whatever attorney, prosecutor, seeing these tweets, if you do not take action, then you are complicit. We need right now, all of you, to contact your local DAs, wherever these stories that James O'Keefe is producing, and say, I demand an investigation into this. Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is fairly liberal. It's fairly liberal, so maybe you won't get anything done. But this is how the game is being played. It is a fifth generational civil war. Chicago has been under Democrat authority for like 100 years. This means that you're not going to get a prosecutor or a mayor or any politician who will act against the single party control. This may be the last chance you have. In these states, it appears, in these jurisdictions, these donations are coming through. The question is, who's making them? How is it that this one individual has 26,000 donations? She denies it. In the video, she says outright, I didn't make these donations. I didn't make that. That's crazy. Of course she didn't. 12 per day for years? So who's doing it? Well, you see, the issue is in this jurisdiction, prosecutor ain't going to go after these people. They're not going to look into it. It's going to require federal action. I would only say this. The challenge, of course, is going to be that Democrats can funnel money through Act Blue. A portion goes to Act Blue, which funds them. They can then contribute whatever they want. And it's going to empower Democrats in these areas, locking down their control of these jurisdictions. And so long as a Republican or conservative can't get in, there will never be accountability. Of course, you would then say this is what the point of the federal government is. Sure. But is not the same thing happening at the federal level? Do you think Merrick Garland is going to go after his cohorts in his Communist Party? Of course not. This tweet was in relation to another video from James O'Keefe, which I want you all to listen to.
We have our latest citizen journalist showing another example of unclaimed contributions through Act Blue. An inquisitive detective with Brightline Investigations for Election Watch brought us the latest unwitting contributor. this time for Richard Schallert of Winnacone, Wisconsin. Let's hear what he has to say.
You can step in if you want to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you very much, ma'am. Hi there, you Richard, sir?
Yes, that's me.
My name's Kyle Corrigan. I'm with Brightline Investigations. I'm a private detective. Just had a couple of questions here. I've been hired by an election watch company, and they noticed that your name was on a federal elections commission that's donated several $1,000s. In the last 7 years, you've apparently donated 8,333 times to elections.
Wow, that many? I know I did donate a lot. That seems a little odd.
Yeah.
That seems too high. Maybe 800,
Okay.
but not 8,000. No, there must be an error there. No, I can't believe I was admitted that. No.
Okay.
I'm a generous donor, I grant you that.
Sure.
But nothing like 8,000, no.
Okay. So, but just once a month is all you're donating, as far as you know?
Yeah. Well, once a month for,
Right.
up to the election.
Sure. So 12 times a year, is
12 times a year.
okay.
Yeah, that little bit of something else, that doesn't sound right. Yeah, I say maybe over the period of 7 years, maybe 800 donations all.
But that's 10 times, what it
Yeah.
should be then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's way out of line. That's not. Well, I'll look through some of my old records to see if I can find anything.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time, Richard.
Oh no.
As we were producing this piece, we received additional footage from citizen journalist Kyle Corrigan out in the field. Here's what Wisconsin residents Sidney Grossberg and Dale Wing had to say when asked about their alleged contributions.
We obtained this from Election Watch. I was hired by an attorney with Election Watch to interview several different residents in the state of Wisconsin that had some significant amounts of political donations in their name. The information that I have is in the last 7 years, it says that you've donated 10,989 times.
Over how many years?
7 years. So it comes out to about 4 times a day that you're donating.
Wow.
That's what we thought too. You're one of the highest.
To my knowledge, I don't think that I gave that kind of information concerning my credit card.
Right, but 10,000 times, I'm reasonably certain that you would have seen some sort of charges on there that you thought, this looks odd. This recurring charge this would be like 4 times a day. For your particular amount of donations, that would be 4 times a day that they're making this every single day of the week, 24/7, 365. Nobody I've spoke to yet has actually had any unauthorized transactions on their account.
What you told me is startling. 99.9% I put on one credit card. Well, I confess that I have no concept. Essentially 11,000 donations. 7 years.
11,000 donations.
Election you made 4,085 donations in the last 7 years. Do you know if is it accurate?
That doesn't sound accurate. 4,000. No, that doesn't.
Yeah, so 4,000, not just $4,000, but 4,085 donations. So that's about almost 2 a day, I guess, in the last 7 years. So,
No, that
look,
doesn't sound right.
do you have a ballpark idea of about how many times you have donated?
Not right offhand.
Okay. Like a couple hundred or something like that, or some of the other folks I've spoken to, they do like a monthly donation where it's automatically withdrawn from their accounts and things
Oh,
like
I
that.
wouldn't do
I think
It's nice speaking with you, ma'am.
I think
Nice
we
to meet you
get
as
the
well.
point on these videos. James OKeefe and his OKeefe Media Group have been recruiting young citizen journalists. I shouldn't say young, just citizen journalists to go around and ask these questions. So my question is simply, where are the investigations? Where are the prosecutions? Where are we? Where any of the district attorneys or prosecutors to actually start digging into this, to fight back and stop what appears to be overt corruption? I'll sit here and say it every day. If we don't have any, we lose. We have this tweet from Greg Price. He says Wisconsin now has a Supreme Court that is going to strike down voter ID, bring back ballot harvesting before 2024. It was the most important election of the year, and conservatives allowed themselves to get heavily outspent and didn't even notice until it was too late. Jane Protasiewicz, probably pronouncing it wrong, Protasiewicz, and liberal groups spent $23.3 million on this race. George Soros gave $1 million to Wisconsin Dems right before the election. Conservatives only spent $17.6 million, with Dan Kelly himself only spending $2.2. Total disaster. This can't happen in a race where the stakes are so high. And no, we didn't lose because it was rigged. Conservatives lost because our voters didn't turn out to vote. Complete disaster at every level. And now election integrity in a key swing state is in doubt for 2024. I mean, here it is. When all is said and done, Janet Protasiewicz will likely have broken 40% in Waukesha County. This is the bleeding heart of the Wisconsin Republican Party. There you go. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. He says our opposition has built up a massive political and money machines designed to drive out votes. They are laser focused on winning. It seems like the only person on our side who was doing anything was once again Scott Pressler. We keep losing elections because we are being out fundraised, out ground gamed, out messaged, and outmanned by our opponents. Conservatives need to stop waving white flags and fix it. Now this crazy lady is in charge of the court in Wisconsin. Okay, here's what you can do. Research what Scott Pressler does. Copy him. Simply put, going around registering voters. Or you can reach out to Scott Pressler and help him do his work. There's more. If you find that you are an individual of means, you can team up with someone like Scott Pressler. I don't know what else you should or shouldn't do. I can simply say this. There are so many people who watch these videos who want to win. The Democrats have to spend money to win because most of their voters are just ignorant. The advantage that we have is that we have people like you who are motivated in trying to figure out how to win. You don't need money for ideology. Well, the Democrats certainly have their crackpots who are ideologically driven within the cult. I believe there are more individuals who are disaffected liberals, libertarians, or conservatives who are willing to step up and donate their time and energy to winning. That's an advantage I think Democrats don't have. Democrats rely on ignorant voters who vote by mail. They rely on activists to ballot chase and ballot harvest. Okay, it's time that the Freedom Faction does that thing as well. So all of you who are listening, you say, but what can I do? You don't need money to go take a walk and knock on doors. You don't need money to contact someone like Scott Pressler and say, what can I do to help you? It's funny because even Greg Price points out Scott Pressler seems to be the only one doing anything about this. But I'll say, what we need now, ground game? Oh, you bet. I don't think all is lost simply because Wisconsin elected this lady. I think it shows that moderate regular Americans are completely removed from the revolution that is happening before our eyes. And it'll get bad. Now, part of me thinks this. There's a tweet says the reason this election happened like this is because Gen Z voted. This is what conservatives don't get. It is 2023, and you are getting a wave of new cult member Gen Z voters. I keep warning the Republicans. If you listen to Timcast IRL, you heard me say it. When these kids turn 18, they will vote, and they are all going to vote far left. But you know what? Apparently, abortion's the big issue. Hey, look, I'm not a conservative. I've never been staunchly pro-life. I've always been moderately pro-choice. I don't believe in absolute abortion, whatever you want, but this is a huge driving factor, they say. Okay, well, look, I'd prefer it if people weren't getting abortions, right? At the same time, I recognize if I ain't winning that fight, I ain't crying about it politically. I know many of you may lament the death of these children, and that's a very serious issue. I get it. Politically, these people are killing off their own kids. Okay, it's horrible when you view it that way. But the end result is a future that is dominated by conservatives. Mathematically, they cannot keep winning. I think of it like a dolphin in the depths of the ocean, swimming faster and faster towards the surface and then breaching into the air, getting 6-7 feet of air and then falling right back down. Where we are right now is the breach period. The dolphin has launched into the air, but it is impossible for it to stay up there. The Democrats are winning a lot of these fights, and it is impossible for them to stay up there. It's impossible. They will terminate the lives of their own children and sterilize them. They're losing in the schools because more and more conservatives are getting out of cities and homeschooling their kids. So they will try to indoctrinate your kids, but they're clearly losing. And that's been a big problem for them. Give it 20 years. I don't see them winning in this. However, before they do ultimately lose, perhaps, they get violent. Here's what I think. I think the night is always darkest before the dawn. And Greg Price is highlighting this, and we are talking about it, and more people are going to get active. I think there's a strong chance that Trump wins in 2024 for a variety of reasons. Republicans understand now the power of ballot harvesting. They're beginning to build that infrastructure. It may very well work. Ballot chasing and harvesting where it's legal. And then if Trump wins and drops the hammer on the corruption, the system could be fixed. The corrupt left could be marginalized. And then as they abort and sterilize their own children, eventually their ideology will cease to exist. That's it. As more and more conservatives have children, markets will start saying, if there are 6 conservatives and 4 liberals, I make more money by catering to conservatives. That's the future when you have kids. Simply put, there's one way to win the culture war effectively, decisively, end all be all, and it is for you to have like 10 children. I know it sounds crazy, right? That's literally it. Have like 10 kids. Now, I know a lot of people are like, Tim, where are your kids? Well, we'll see. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.